Yeah, I have
that we have about others and the world,
Yeah.
then the perception about ourselves,
Yeah.
and the perception that we are creating about ourselves in the listening of people,
Right.
right? And what we were distinguishing is, as if we do all of this, empathy walk, stakeholder interview, case screen, all these tools, if we are using,
Right.
then all these three perception changes would happen.
Okay, great.
So it was more like connecting the dots. We had put in everything, but we just wanted to connect it and see it from that context.
This is session 9, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just print out the outline.
Yeah.
But you should just carry on. Don't worry about me.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 7:30. We'll wait for a couple of seconds. Hi, everybody.
Nobody wants to say hi to you.
They said.
I didn't hear anything.
We did a virtual hi.
Oh, you waved your hands, huh?
Yes.
I didn't hear anything because I'm busy trying to print something out here.
Right.
Okay. Rijita, how are you? We missed you the last time.
No, I was there.
No, I was the last session that I was there at.
No, she was there. I think one session before.
One session
before,
right,
yeah.
Right. Ankit, still feeling cold? The cold is still there, right?
Yeah.
February is the coldest month, isn't it, generally?
No, December is the coldest.
No, in Delhi it's February.
January for the
January, yeah. Here too.
Okay, great. So let's begin. So good evening and welcome to the session 9 of the cohort 11. And okay, Srinath has also joined in. So I can see HM, Colonel, Rijita, Ankit, and Srinath. Srinath, you can't see your video. It would be good to have that. Okay, and I'm sure people will join in as they join in.
He belongs to the security services. He never shows us his video.
Yeah. Okay. So last time we looked at we went deeper into the two questions: who's myself and what is my work? And when we looked at work, we looked at it from the context of purpose or your calling. And so we did some work on that, good amount of work on that. And then we asked you to engage into three kind of conversations. One is a conversation with yourself. Second is a conversation with your circle, or we use the word dialogue. So dialogue with yourself, dialogue with your circle, and dialogue with the universe. And as a way of getting more clarity or crystallizing your intention. And what we intend to do today is to move further with regards to crystallizing your vision and be able to look at inside of your vision, what project can you take on? Not necessarily like 100% clarity of the project, but like a good enough clarity of what kind of project you can take on, which would be an expression of this self and calling that you are talking about, right? So that's what we intend to do today. And we would like to share from that. Before I invite your sharing, I also want to kind of connect the dots in terms of the whole workshop till date. So there's some background noise. I don't know from where. Natesh? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Natesh, when you want to speak, you should unmute yourself and speak. Okay. So see the whole journey, if you were to look at there is a you that we're talking about. Theory you is the you, right? So there's a left side of you, there is a bottom portion, and then there's a right side. Okay. in this workshop, of course, we are focusing a lot on the left side. Till now, that's what we did most of the time. And the left side of you is the foundation for the whole game. And in itself, it is miraculous. And as a foundation, of course, it is more valuable. So what we really did is, as we started with looking at various distinctions, ego to eco, right? The turning the camera around and seeing ourselves as the system. We practiced deep listening, and we did this whole work on empathy walk, stakeholder interview, case clinic, fields of conversation, and whole gamut of tools. What it is expected to accomplish, and it would have accomplished, but we want to kind of give you a chance to connect, is we think there are three kind of change, three kind of transformation that would have happened for you. Okay. And the first transformation would have been in the way you perceive people and the way you perceive your situations. The second transformation would be in the way you perceive yourself. And the third transformation would be in the domain of how people perceive you. Okay. So what I would like you to do is to take a moment and reflect on, in this whole 3 months journey, what do you see in terms of what's the transformation in your perception of others, your perception of yourself, and others' perception of you. Okay. So is the question clear? Okay, good. So let's hear from you.
Manoj, there's something wrong with my system. I'll have to switch off and switch on.
Okay.
But I think Vivek, you guys won't get disconnected, right?
I don't think.
No problem, no issue.
Okay.
If Vivek is the host, then definitely not.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's have people share what you see for yourself from these three transformations that I suspect you have had. So who would like to start? And don't worry, there's no right answer. It's looking from it. Yes, Hicham. Yeah, Hicham.
For your first question, way you perceive people, actually, this work of being with you, all these sessions and hearing from everyone and sharing, has brought me to be more aware of people, what they were saying, and also I was perceiving people as obstacles, obstacles to my life, obstacles to my objectives, obstacles to everything I wanted to achieve.
All right.
But now I'm seeing them more than real people with thoughts, with emotions, with some needs, human
Very
needs.
Good. Very
and
good.
Also the fact that this ecology system means that we have to be together in a good situation to grow, let's say.
Right.
So yeah, the perception of the people, and I hear myself sometimes starting judging and saying, why is she or he telling me this way? Mm-hmm. I notice myself being in this judgmental, and I start just stepping back and saying, okay, if he or she is saying this has a meaning, and I have to hear it and accept the emotion as it is, and accept to reflect and think the way he could think about the situation, not I would think about the situation.
Right.
This is very hard, This is very hard because the first thing we do when we hear someone, we just want to show what we are feeling, instead of taking time so we want to react. So instead of reacting now, I take more time to reflect and feel. Yeah.
Great.
This has changed a lot for me.
Yeah, very good.
And yeah, as a matter of fact, how I perceive myself, I'm more patient than before. More listening to my emotions that are not bad, not good, just listen to how they are and what are they saying to me. Perceiving myself of part of a whole instead of a just one going into one direction, not taking care of anybody. So the whole can help me get to where I want to go instead of, so I see myself more part of a big thing. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And then how people perceive you. This, I don't have enough feedback, but I think that, for example, for the stakeholder, when you do the work properly, and then when you send the sheet to the person afterwards, when you do, people see you as a professional. They see you as someone who cares about them. When you ask the question, what can I give you? What can I bring you? Yeah. So they think that, you are sharing something with them, not just taking.
Right.
So this has changed also some stuff. So people see you as a partner rather than someone just getting information and some good stuff. So it changed many things. I think it's an ongoing process. So it will keep improving, keep seeing ourselves in situation where you are not getting it right. But it depends how you are feeling. If you are feeling good, you are in a process of growing, so you are doing this stuff. But if you are not feeling good, you don't have energy, you need energy from the exterior or getting more energy. So it depends on either you are stressed or you are in a good feeling. This makes a difference on how you act with people, I think.
I think what you said earlier, the shift in those three perceptions, right, of people, of self, and how people perceive you. I think that was fantastic. And I think with regards to our own stress or our own energy level, it's also a function of, like Ferdy was today pointing out in one conversation, is also an opportunity. Whenever we are feeling low, whenever we are kind of having our energy level or stress in the picture, it might be a good opportunity to look at our own downloading of ourselves, downloading of the situation, and downloading of people concerned. Right?
Yes.
But what you shared is phenomenal. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, welcome.
Great. Okay, let's hear from somebody else. How do you see your transformation from these three dimensions? Shift in the transformation, in the perception that you have of others, perception you have of yourself, and perception others have of you. And if you can't see one of the three or two of the three, don't worry. It's not that you have to see right now, but let's hear from you. Colonel?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, Manoj. I was a good listener initially. And in the earlier organization, that is Army, I felt that, I was taken for granted by my subordinates at times. They were taking your gentlemanliness for granted. But in the new journey, when I got back to the civil for the last 4 years now, the first organization, yes, again, I had a little problem in, coming down to the level and also the working environment. There was definitely a cultural shock as far as the work environment was concerned. Now, in the present assignment, where I am looking after the trust, benefactors, and the students of the college. So, by observing and listening, yes, up to a very good extent, I could have a wonderful rapport with those 577 benefactors. Yes, we have still some problem creators are there, but still I find that I could break the ice.
Okay.
Number one. As far as the staff is concerned, yes, the staff, I initially found that they were lacking to take the ownership They just come at a prescribed time and go back at a prescribed time. But due to the interactions with them, at least some percentage, maybe a few, they have started being part of the team and taking the ownership. But coming over to the students is the major chunk. Almost 1,300 students are there. Somehow I feel that it's still a long way to go for me, because maybe the what do you call, they are coming to us at the age of almost 19 for when you're joining for the degree or the post graduation.
Right.
So you find it that there is a gap, which though I've been trying to bridge that, but I find still you have to go down to their levels much more than what we do now. Because the downloading, maybe at times we expect more from them, and you find that they are not coming up to the required standard what we want. But when you go down to their level and when you start listening to them, there is a change. There's no doubt. But still, you find a majority, you find they are not coming up to that required level of understanding.
Yeah. So, Karnal, if I can interrupt. Okay.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So, when you look at your perception about them, right? And when you look at when you started the course and when you're listening to them from your opinion, downloading is your opinions and judgments, right?
Yeah.
So we are listening to people through the, so you're listening to students from your opinions and judgments. You're listening to your benefactors from your opinions and judgment. You're listening to the staff from opinions and judgment, right? Now, over the period of these 3 months approximately, do you see the grip of those opinions and judgments reducing?
Absolutely.
Do you see you have more, you're not kind of completely consumed by those opinions and judgment, you're able to suspend those opinions and judgment and actually practice deep listening with them?
Correct. But at times it's not happening, though you are trying.
Yeah. So
it is an automatic, reaction coming from within. I don't know at times.
Yeah, it's I would say it is the of course it's automatic. It's not coming from within. It's the automatic habitual response.
Yes.
It's automatic, and that's why we call it downloading, right? Habitual response of the opinions and judgments. Okay.
Correct.
And yeah, it takes conscious efforts, but and it will take a lot of conscious efforts. I understand that. But do you see the possibility of being responsible for the way you listen?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
The only problem I faced was whenever you require immediate work to be done. Now you want it, there's a priority of time involved. So that is the time I find that, because maybe you are short of time, then at that time you want others to listen to you more, because, the time frame matters. So at that time, your listening skills, I find it is going down. It is not up to the required level, maybe because there is no time, because you have to get that work done on ground.
Right. Okay. That's one way to look at it. Okay. I would look at it differently.
Okay.
I would look at it like, if something is important, okay, as a team, if you need to deliver on something, then the quality of relationship the team has is going to be critical, right? And as a leader, you got to invest in creating that kind of quality of relationship, which will happen when you practice this listening and when you create a whole team culture. That's why we had this conversation of the fields of conversation, right? So that is the team culture that you create, so that everybody is aligned to the intention. Okay, great. I got that. So Colonel, I expect that you continue this journey ongoingly, not only at the end of the course, but ongoingly even further, right? Great. Thank you very much. Anything else you wanted to say?
Now you said about the team, that relationship, because unfortunately we have a little problem because of the organization itself. Now we have quite a good number of turnover. Now you start, settling down with the team, and you find almost, within 3 months, we lost about 14 of them. They moved out on better opportunities. So you can't help it. So now again, you have to start from square one with the new people who have joined the team. So that is why that continuity may not be as consistent as could have been.
Yes. Yes. And consider that to some degree, the kind of listening that you bring forth and the kind of environment that you create contributes to the attrition, including from the selection to the attrition.
Okay.
And those stakeholder interviews and empathy walks with the same people and the same team, and really getting to know what their needs are, what their problems are, what their challenges are.
So most organizations, because attrition is a kind of a problem that many organizations face. So it's not like you're the only one who's facing that, right? So consider, so this is what I would like to leave you with, Colonel, in this conversation. Consider that all the challenges that you have, right, they are valid. And they are the perfect opportunity to practice all these tools.
Okay.
Right? It's not that when the problem is solved, then you practice, and then you are it's not that you in the right environment you will practice all these tools. All the challenge, right? You've seen life enough. We are always going to have problems. We are always going to have challenges. We're not going to have a kind of, someday there will be no challenge and perfect life situation. No, this is the life. And in this situation, in this current moment, with this challenging people, challenging situations and circumstances, is the perfect time to practice all these tools and to create and provide leadership. This is the perfect time to provide this new kind of leadership. Okay?
Definitely, I'll put in my 100% and see how it goes.
Great. Thank you very much, Colonel. Thank you. Okay. So what I would like to do, Vivek, is if you can put them in the breakout rooms, 3 people or so. And what I would like to do is in this breakout rooms, we'll give you around 6 minutes, 2 minutes each. Share with each other from these 3 perspectives. How has your perception of others changed? How has your perception of yourself changed? And how has others' perception of you changed, right? Whatever you see, and don't worry if you don't see something, okay? So take approximately 6 minutes, 2 minutes each, and Vivek will send you into the breakout rooms. Is everybody clear about what I'm asking you to do? Okay, great. So on your screen, you will have an invitation to join the breakout room. Okay.
Hi, Akshat bhai.
अंकित हाय.
How are you?
सर क्या हाल चाल?
बहुत बढ़िया यार, बिल्कुल फिट है.
ओ विवेक हाय. So you guys, it looks like all of you are enjoying the winters of Delhi still.
Yes.
Okay, what Manoj asked.
Hi, Rajita.
Hi, Vivek.
I need to put you in another room because your person hasn't come.
Okay.
I'm just going to move you. Just stay.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right, good.
All right.
So how much time you want the sharing to take?
I think max of 30 minutes, maybe a little less, between
Yeah,
20 to 30 minutes.
Right, okay, good. No problem. So when they get back, 20 minutes after that, I'll turn it back to you, okay?
Okay, great. And Vivek, you are also ready to do the 6 principles if required, right?
Yeah.
But your sound is much better, Manoj.
Yeah, I went back to my old headphone.
Ah. But remember, it's vibrating. Your computer is vibrating so that when you speak. All right. So, hi, everybody. Now, whatever work you've done with each other, just park it for a little bit because we're going to take a slight detour. And I want you to share about, imagine this was the beginning of the session. Normally in the beginning of the session, we ask you to share. What did you get? What's opened up? Any questions you have? So about the last session and whatever happened or what's happening so far. So who'd like to begin sharing? I know it's a different conversation. You have to get your head out of these three things, perspectives that he talked about and back into the things. Let's see. Or let me put it another way, okay? We've been going down to you. And we've been going down to you and developing, altering our perception and developing some skills and capabilities. Then we went to the bottom of the you and you actually withdrew and you started to examine yourself, what your life is about, who are you, what does it mean, all that kind of thing. And then now, hopefully at this point, you should have crystallized some intention or some vision for yourself. Okay, this is my true self. These are the answers to my question. What is myself? What is my work? And you start to see that there is a calling. Something's calling you. You're getting some idea. I want to do this. This is what I want to do. Now these two sessions, this session and the next one, is about looking at what do you do with that? What do you do with that possibility? What do you do with that intention that you created? And how do you turn it into reality? How do you turn an intention into reality? So Vivek's going to take you through that, take you through the process of prototyping and the steps of, Manoj, you're going to do that? Yeah, Manoj is going to take you through the process of prototyping. But we thought it might be useful to see if you may have nothing you want to share at the moment because you're in a different conversation. But if you have anything you want to share about what is the vision you have, what is the intention you have, what are you looking forward to doing after you leave this course, the course is over, what do you want to accomplish, what do you want to do? So anybody, tell us about that.
Very good afternoon. This is Piyush.
Yeah, Piyush, go for it.
But last time, in fact, I took you helped me to understand what is my purpose, and it came out that I like to do start services which helps people to achieve their goals. And it was a very, very business-oriented goal. Then I was working on that and said, okay, what do I want to do? I want to work on a long-term objective of 3 to 5 years, sell around 1 million policies to people who are at the bottom of the pyramid, so that if something happens, the life is impacted.
Yes.
And this is also aligned to the assignment which I have taken.
Yes.
I was thinking, this looks to be a good role, but tomorrow if I change my job, is the purpose so narrow that is getting into my job? And I was lost somewhere.
I
thought
understand. So
to sort this out.
Yeah, that is very, very good. Very, very good. Because the idea you have is quite large. You want to address that bottom layer of people, right? And if you change your job, suddenly, how do I address that bottom layer of people? Well, this is a vision you have of making this kind of difference. And this vision that you have, you will find that it is not your individual vision, that there are other people who have similar vision. and other people who can get aligned towards your vision, so that the fulfillment of that vision doesn't depend on the job you're doing, but depends more on the core team you create. So you have an intention. Now you're creating a core team that allows you to fulfill on that intention. Okay, so it's perfect. Not to worry about having, I think that's really brilliant. What you've got is very brilliant. It's got a lot of energy and it'll take you forward. And just hold on to the next steps until Manoj starts talking, but that's brilliant. I want to hear from other people something similar. Thank you very much, Piyush. Okay, who's next? What is your intention or vision? Or what are the answers to the question, who is myself and what is my work? Or just the answer to the question, what is my work? Any one of these will be fine. What did you get to?
So, may I answer?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So I have been through these 17 questions which have questioned me a lot about who I am, what I want to do tomorrow, in 2 years, in 10 years, and see it from the end of life, where we don't know where is the end actually. But it's a good exercise. And I have come to some real actions, Actions is reality, We can speak, we can think, but actions is what makes things done or not done. I have came to actions where I need to prepare myself to be someone who can help a lot of people with trainings, with coachings, with consulting, and a lot of things. So prepare and train myself all the time. Execute means as soon as I get the training, as soon as I get preparation, I go to the field to listen what people are saying about what I give, to have feedbacks, and then to come back again to execute. So for me, this loop is very important. Train, prepare, and execute. And then when you have the feedback, repeat and repeat again. And keep listening from the field, observing, and changing the way I do things. So yeah, for me is a lot of action verbs to make myself moving and going towards my vision, which is helping people become better, helping organization improve themselves, having a world with better ecology, or ecology in the way we speak, in the way we buy things, in the way we behave with everyone. So this is my vision, and for my vision to happen, it has to get to action, everyday action.
Yeah, that's very good. So you've got, your intention is clear. Your intention is to make a difference to individuals, to organizations, to the planet itself, right?
Exactly.
And there's a direction through which you're going to make that difference. That's clear enough for you. And I think that's good. So it's a good starting point. Like Piyush has his intention, you got your intention. Very good. Great. Thank you. Somebody else? Rijita, anything for you?
Not right now.
No,
Still,
you didn't
no.
have. You don't have any.
No, I do have a vision. I'm still not worked enough on it. I mean,
You don't have to. That's what we are here for. So why don't you tell us what your vision is?
So as I mentioned last time, it is primarily about making students more practice-centric than book-centric or theory-centric or mark-centric.
Right.
And through my iterations, what I have seen is that instead of just making it with what I want them to learn, it should be more what the industry wants them to learn, which is the main gap which Indian academia are struggling with. So probably how to I want to bridge that industry academia gap which is there.
Very good.
Where
Very
I've
good.
reached as of now.
And Rijita, I remember now, you did say this earlier. What is the usefulness of you saying it now? Is it brings it alive right now because we're going through a whole process of prototyping.
Prototyping, yes.
And knowing what you are dealing with, what your vision is, what your intention is, helps us to, helps other people as well clarify theirs. Great, Rijita, thank you. That's perfect. Like Hitcham and Piyush, it's all aligned. Terrific. All right, Rajiv or Sajal or Ankit or Akshat. So what's your vision? What's the direction of travel for you?
Akshat, go ahead.
Ferdy, for me, the direction is to make an impact. And for my own self, I realized is that I want to be of a useful and kind.
Right.
Yeah, it's not like you want to be Akshat. It's like when you say, answer the question, who's myself?
Yeah, this
And
is
the
myself.
response is, myself is kind and
Useful.
Useful. Yes.
And then your work is making an impact.
Right.
Right. And that making an impact is the starting point, and now you can go a little deeper on that.
And there
Yes.
is a direction of your utility and your kindness. You're going in a particular direction. You want to be useful to people in a particular direction. Do you have any idea about what the direction is?
That I will come. I don't know right now. Not clear idea.
Just think, Akshat. Right now, just think. Okay. Like what Ferdy said. So you want to be useful. Now you don't want to be useful in 10,000 different ways. There are some specific ways that you want to be useful, right?
So it could be either currently what I do, which is training, or it could be travel, or something like that.
Useful for what? Useful in what? Not how, but you're useful for what?
You know, a teacher is useful in one way, right? And Piyush, who's working in finance and insurance, is useful in another way. In what way do you see yourself being useful?
Like resourceful. I could be a resourceful. That is my usefulness.
Yeah,
that,
for what?
Others can. I'm not very clear, Ferdy.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry
what
right
is
now.
No, that's not bad. What is your line of business?
I'm in learning and
He's
development.
an HR professional in insurance.
Right. So you're in learning and development.
So I work
right?
with a company in learning and development.
Yeah. So clearly you want to be useful for people in the area of learning and development. Am I not right?
Sorry, I'm losing you.
You want to be useful in people learning and development.
I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Akshat? Okay. It looks like he can't hear both of us.
Hello?
Akshat, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
So you want to be useful, I believe, in helping people in their learning and development. Correct?
Yeah, that's for now because I'm working right now in learning and development field. And so right now, yes, you're right. In learning and development is what I want to be useful for.
Yeah. And later on, it might go to something else. But when it does, you can use the same principles there. It looks like you're not hearing us properly.
Can you hear me now, Akshat? Akshat, you're not able to hear us. Try putting your video off for some time.
So I couldn't hear you. Maybe some connection problem. Let me.
Yeah. Put your video off for a minute.
More your volume is low. Increase the volume of your sound or use headphones.
Okay, we'll come back.
You could use your headphones.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you quite clearly. I can hear you quite clearly. I think you can't hear us.
Okay.
What I suggest you do is get off and come back
Okay, I
on
just
again.
switched off the video for a minute so that if
Can you hear us now?
yes, I can hear
Okay.
you, Pradeep.
Okay, good. So we'll start with learning and development, okay? Direction of being kind and useful in learning and development.
Right.
Did you hear? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move to someone else. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Akshat.
I had
Okay,
a
who
question.
else?
I had a question.
Yes.
Can I ask that right now?
Sure.
Yeah. So when you're talking to Akshat, you said that right now he's in training and development, and then when he goes to some other place, his vision will transfer to that place, right? But shouldn't vision be something which is more of an umbrella kind of a thing which you can apply in wherever place you go? Or am I wrong in my understanding with regard to that?
Well, he said he wants to be kind and useful.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That
That is
kind
the
and useful.
that is the umbrella.
That is a
okay.
larger context. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
That is and to turn that into reality in the world, he has to structure it, and he's structuring it in learning and development.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Good. All right. Somebody else. Sajal.
So,
sound off. Unmute yourself.
fine. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right. So, I am into complete data analytics part, and my vision is to understand the data in better way and help people to take better decisions on that.
Okay, good. Good. I think that's a good start. We can work from there. Terrific. Thank you. And Anita, what about you?
Can't hear you, Anita. Fadi, are you able to hear her?
No, I can't.
Anita, we can't hear you. Check your system. Okay, we can go to Ankit in the meanwhile. No, Anita, we can't hear you.
Just sign off and sign on again. Ankit?
Yes. Fadi, it is a lot of confusion. I am not able to, mark this clearly.
Well, Ankit, my memory is that you came up with something in the last session. I may not have been there in the last week, but I know that the week before you came up with something. So you've lost it or forgotten it or whatever, but you answered the questions and you got a direction. What is the difference you want to make in the world?
Yes. I want to actually help as many people as possible, especially those people who are deprived of either chances or money. I want to help anybody.
Very good. Very good. That's great. And do you have any direction in which you want to help? Everybody, as you can see, everyone wants to be helpful. And your direction for helping might be different from somebody else's direction for helping. So what is the direction you want to help people in? I think you said it. What is the business you're in?
I'm into medical equipments.
Oh, right. I remember medical equipment.
Yes.
I'm making a difference to people, helping people who are in need in the place where you are, which is in the medical equipment field.
And and you had also shared that when you supply your machines and equipments, you make sure that the people are fully educated so that they're not just buying it, but they're able to use it fully, get the fullest benefit out of those equipments. That is what you had shared last time. Just to
Remind
everybody here. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So that is sufficient. That's what you need to just articulate just now. We got it. We're going to move on now. Anita, is your sound all right now? Can we hear you?
Yes, Ferdy, is okay now?
Yes, okay. Perfect.
Okay, Ferdy, myself, I'm very caring and supporting person.
Right.
So, and I want to empower people who are around me. So, and like 2 days back, I got an appointment letter to work in administrative post in some it's a very newly started international school. So I'm hoping that I will I'm going to empower a lot of people.
Great.
Wonderful.
So congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah,
great.
I think it is totally new beginning after so many years. So I think I'm very happy.
Very good. And remember, you came from Singapore. Where did you come from?
No.
Thailand.
From Thailand. You left your family. Now you're back with your family. Your husband's in the mix, and the whole thing is there. Now you got this appointment. Okay. Terrific.
Yes.
Terrific. Okay, Manoj, I'm turning it over to you then.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so what we have is all of us have some direction, some starting point with regards to our vision, with regards to our intention. Okay, and it will crystallize as you move forward. It's not cast in stone. It is something that evolves. Okay. Now, what we want to look at is a very critical part of what do you do with all this vision? What do you do with your intention? Most people put it on a piece of paper and put it on the wall and have the courier guys and the postman see it, right? Or talk about it in some meetings. But that's not what you want to do, right? What you want is to look at how do you actually convert this vision into reality? So in the context of the you, we are now moving towards the right, in the right. So we are going to cover 6 principles of prototyping. These are also in sync with principles. So this is you can say this is a combination of design thinking and mindfulness put together in the context of theory. And this 6 principles help you convey in reality powerful. So they create a strong foundation you may make. The other 6 principles there, Sajal? Oh, fantastic. Great. Okay, so then you know what is the first principle. What's the first principle?
Vision and intention.
Yeah, so the first principle is intention. We're going to go deeper into it, but one critical thing is my favorite part here is intention is not a powerful force. Okay, intention is not a powerful force. It is the only force. Okay, so you want to get the difference between the two. It's not one powerful force. It is the only force. Okay, so okay, good. And okay, so Vivek, you can take us into the slideshow. Vivek,
It is
slideshow?
showing, I can see it.
Oh, it's showing, it's not in the slideshow format.
It is in the slideshow format.
Oh, okay. I could see the slides. Okay.
There's something going wrong with the Zoom thing. There you go.
Okay, yeah, now we have. Okay, so let's just go through the 6 principles, the names, and then we will go deeper into each one of them. Okay, so the first principle is the power of intention. Okay, and so everything begins here, and everything is all about the game of intention. Like if you remember in the starting stages of this workshop, we talked about the blind spot of leadership, and we talked about leadership is so mostly people look at the results people produce or the process through which the results got produced, but the blind spot is this internal state of leaders. And the internal state of leaders is what? Is firstly the intention, and the second is the quality of attention and the mindfulness. So now we are going to that. So here we're talking about the most critical thing in your leadership, the most critical thing in all the change that you will ever make starts with the first principle, which is intention. And the second principle is core team. A core team is a team of people, maybe 4 or 5 along with you, who are not supporting you, who are not part of your intention, but it is also their intention. Like they are equal owners of the intention. They are also the owner of the intention. So it's that kind of a team. And when you have that kind of team, you can create miracles, right? And we say with 5 people, with 1 person is difficult, but if you have 5 people, you can change the world. Okay, so 5 people aligned to an intention, that is enough to make any difference you want to make. So that's the second principle. Third principle, Vivek. Third principle is, I think it's a change in thinking for many of us. Many of us have been trained to come up with one great plan, come up with the right plan, come up with an expert plan, having thought through everything, and then you put your best foot forward. Here we are saying no, that you don't wait for that. This is called 0.8. 0.8 means it's not 1, it's not your final product, it's just a prototype, it's just a kind of something which can allow you to, everybody knows it's not ready yet, it's not 1, it's 0.8, everybody knows that, right? But it is something that you go out and go to the stakeholders with, go to the users with, go to the concerned people with, and get feedback. So it's called iterate, iterate, iterate. You have, so in the context of your intention, you will have many ideas how we can fulfill this intention. So if I look at, for example, Rijuta, if you look at that you want to make the whole learning process in a way that the students are industry ready, job ready, and able to hit the ground running, right? Now, inside of that, you could have many ideas. Oh, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do this, maybe we should collaborate with the industry, maybe we should bring this kind of courses, maybe they should. So there could be 25 different ways of going about it, right? And there could be experiments at the level of curriculum, experiments at the level of the kind of action student take, the kind of people who come to teach. There could be, again, multiple dimensions in which those ideas could be there, right? Now, how do you know which one is the best and how to implement? The fact is you never know. So what do? Instead of waiting for some bright day where you will get all your answers sorted out, what you do is you actually experiment. So try out. So you have one idea, one hypothesis, one idea, you test it out. You have some other idea, you test it out, you test it out, you test it out. And every time you test out, you do something try out, you get feedback. And in the feedback process, you learn and your idea become better and better. Okay. So that's the whole game of 0.8. We also call it iterate, iterate, iterate. Okay. So that's the principle number 3. And the fourth principle is the landing strip for the future. So this is like your new idea, your new vision, your possibility is like a small plant, small sapling, right? When it is in a very small stage, it needs protection. It needs a lot of care. Once it becomes a big tree, it doesn't need that kind of care, right? But initially, the sapling needs a lot of care and it needs a certain safe environment. Okay, so your ideas and your vision is also like that. It needs a certain environment in which it gets nourished, right? So you have to create that environment, and that environment could have multiple facets. One of the important facets is where you and your core team nourish that idea. Okay, that's one important facet of this. For example, well, it could be like you and your core team get together for 1 hour a week to just nourish that intention, nourish that idea, develop that idea. Okay, there could be some other platforms in which that idea can get nourished. There could be online platforms and offline platforms, spaces that you can think of where you can, there is a safe space to discuss everything, safe space to try out different things, right? It's a safe space in which your vision can get nourished. Okay, so that's the principle number 4. And we're going to go through each one of them in details again, and we'll take your questions at that time. But let me just lay out all the 6 principles for you first. Okay, and the 5th principle is always listen to the universe. So one of the things that as a leader and as an entrepreneur is to look at our relationship with the universe. We need to create a relationship which is that the universe is a helpful place. And the universe wants to help in refining our idea, in making our idea better. Now, as you go out and try various experiments and you try to implement various things, you try to get different people, all of that, you will get feedback, and you will get success, you get failure, and you'll get feedback in many forms. Some of the feedback may not be appropriate, and you can separate it out, and you should know how to separate it out. But it's important that you have this relationship with that the universe wants to help me refine and make my idea better. So that's the kind of relationship all entrepreneurs and leaders need to create inside of this game of fulfilling your intention and the game of making the kind of change that you want to make on the planet. Yeah. And the 6th one is integrating the intelligence of the head, of the heart, and the hand. One of the things that I'm sure all of us have noticed is there are times when we like the idea, when we are like, yeah, this is the perfect vision, this is the perfect idea, and then we see we are not taking enough action. Or people are saying, yes, 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 it's a perfect idea, it is a great thing, but they're not taking the action. So what is missing? So there is a connection missing between the head and the hand. And that connection is through the intelligence of the heart. So it's important that not only you're creating at the level of head, it's an integration of your head and your heart and the hand, both for yourself and for people concerned, everybody involved in the whole game. Okay, so these are the 6 principles. I'll just go through them all over again. First is intention, the power of intention. Second is the core team. Third is 0.8 or iterate, iterate, iterate. Fourth is the landing space, the spaces and platforms for nurturing your vision. And the 5th is the listening to the universe, your relationship with the universe as a helpful place. And sixth is not only talking to your intelligence of your head, but integrating the intelligence of your head, intelligence of your heart, and your hand. Okay, so these are the 6 principles. I think as a framework, you can see them. Before we go deeper into all of them, let me give you some opportunity to share what you hear in all this, what you see for yourself, anything that you'd like to share from here.
You could go one by one, look at each one.
Yeah, we'll go through that, but as I just let me have people just share whatever they see when they see all these 6 together. Right. Sajal, Akshat, anybody?
Did it go over your head or did you get it? And did you get some points? Did you not get the others? So we'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, Sajal, go ahead. There was an echo earlier.
What I'm telling is like the 6 principles are fine. Like I'm able to get it.
Okay.
What about the challenge to it?
Somebody
Sajal?
else?
Any thoughts about it?
No, just now I'm thinking about intention. I know I'm just thinking about the core team and how to move it.
Okay, good. Very good.
Important challenge, maybe one of the biggest one. How to get the core team together.
You know that the core team will be coming only with the trust part. Okay, and what kind of services or that they have done from past 3 years, 4 years to me, or how much they've contributed to the organization till now, and how is the problem solving skill they have.
Well, you'll see when Manoj goes through what the core team is and what it does, it may be something different than that.
Correct.
Yes.
But good.
Right.
Good sharing.
Good.
Thank you.
Yes. Rijita, you're saying something?
Yeah. So from what I get is that since I've done a bit of design thinking earlier, and I think this takes off where design thinking ends, because design thinking ends with prototyping, and it talks about how you can actually go from prototyping to actually putting it out in the world, right? Second thing I see is the whole listening to the universe bit is something which is very new to me. Till prototyping and platforms, it's still something which I have dealt in the past. But listening to the universe, yes, because there are some things which we don't actively might not be looking for, and they're actually out there. The answer is actually out there. So that's an interesting take on things as of now.
Okay, good. Very good. Thank you. Ankit, you wanted to share? Ankit?
Yes, sir. I think I have got into it, and one of my question is, put on hold already. That the core team is not only and what I really got now is that the core team need not be the part of my intention, but they have the same intention, which is a very major thing that I have, decoded just now.
Right.
And yes, rest is all going to happen whenever, like, I want to fulfill my intention. I have to understand and work on these prototyping, crystallizing, steps.
Right.
So something big.
Right.
So actually, I also want to have more clarity about point number 4.
The landing strip.
Right.
Okay, sure. Great. Okay. Great. Thanks, Ankit. Somebody else? Piyush, Akshat?
Yeah, Manoj, just what I see from the 0.8 iterate one.
Yeah.
Something happened in my mind means that even if you give something to people, it's never perfect, you know?
Yes.
You still have to do it.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the more perfect it becomes. So you have to be okay with the fact that it's never perfect, it's never the right time, but do it. And when you do it, you get the feedback and you know how to improve. So accept that it's never going to be perfect. Yeah, this is very important.
Yeah. HM, if I can add something to that, it's not that you're okay that it is not perfect. You're not even thinking of perfection. You are on in this context, as you'll realize, the context itself is not perfection. This is not like a pilot program.
Yeah.
This is prototyping, right? There's a big difference between pilot and prototyping. A pilot is to show that your idea works.
Okay, yeah.
Here, the prototyping is not at all to convince anybody. It is a learning process.
Okay.
So the whole principle of prototyping, the whole principle of this third 0.8, the whole spirit behind it is taking an action which will generate feedback, which will give you a learning.
Okay.
That's all. So it is like you have to get your head around it, because all of us are trained to what you said. We want to create the right thing and we want to make it ready. And when we show to people, we want them to say, wow, what a great idea. And we want them to acknowledge us and our genius and all that stuff, right? But here, the whole context is different. This is not about showing what a great idea it is. It is more about what can we learn? Like I was talking to Rijita, right? In the same way, if you look at your intention, now you want to contribute to people, right? And instead of that, there could be 25 ways of doing it, right? Which is the best way to do it? You don't know. And if you're going to come up with, oh, this is the way to do it, it may be, it may not be. So instead of you putting all your efforts and into it, what you do is you have look at purpose is to test out an idea, not to prove an idea.
Okay.
Big difference is testing out an idea versus proving an idea.
Okay. Thank you for this. Yeah.
So the spirit is minimum risk, maximum learning.
Manoj, Piyush, in fact, I was wondering, and when you said that, something stuck to me. The idea to be successful is not about just education. It's about time and right place also. So I was thinking, right time and right place, how do you know? And it was always a question mark. Sometimes you start something new, it fails, and start doing it after 3 years, starts working. So I think you have answered it, listening to the universe. So this is what something you were not doing. So we never were able to sense the time of feeling of time and place. So if you listen to the universe, probably I think we will be better off doing. So thank you. This looks very meaningful to me.
Very good. And very good. And see, the whole context is learning, right? We're doing everything for learning. And we're doing it as a process of learning. So it's not that we have the right idea, but we are in the whole journey of learning and discovering, right? Okay, great.
And also, Manoj, I just want to say, it's not just learning for the sake of learning. It's learning as a way of supporting you to fulfill on your intention.
Yes.
You have an intention. We started off with that intention. So in order to make that real, you have to find a kind of project and put it out in the world. And then whether it's the right direction or not, whether it'll work or not, you want to experiment with it and get some feedback. Okay, and that's the process of learning.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, just 1 second, okay? So Okay. So Vivek, can you show that document? Yeah. Okay, great. Fantastic. Okay, so we are showing you a Word document, and this is where we are going to go through these principles again, right? So the first principle is the power of intention, and it's everything, right? So there is a quote here. So can you go on mute? So yeah. This is from Nick Hanover, and he is quoting Margaret Mead, right? And this is about the, it's more about the core team, but it's a kind of a core team and intention. They are interlinked. You can't have an intention and just like that, it has no value. In terms of it's going to be only fulfilled with the core team, and there's a core team is always in sync with the intention. The core team is not anybody else except people who are committed to that intention. So this quote is instead of that, it says, never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. I'll repeat myself. Never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. And then he says, yeah, Nick Hanover, he was a serial entrepreneur and he's been part of Amazon board at some time. He said, I totally believe it. You could do almost anything with just 5 people. With only 1 person, it is hard. But when you put that 1 person with 4 or 5 more, you have a force to contend with. All of a sudden, you have enough momentum to make almost anything that is imminent or within reach actually real. And I think that's what entrepreneurship is all about. And I think that's what leadership is all about. Creating that kind of a vision and force. Okay. So that's what you want to stay with. And yeah, Vivek, you can scroll down. Wait, sorry. So there are 2 things, right? So one is the power of intention, connecting to the possibility of the future that stays in the need of you in order to bring it into reality. So let me say it a little differently. This intention is in a way, it's not like something that you want to do, right? But in a way you are called to do. That's why Freddie came up with this word calling, right? You're called to do. Another way I would say is something that you cannot not do. It calls you so much that it is something that you cannot not do. You get that? So and then so that is the power of intention, and then are completely aligned around this shared intention. Okay, so maybe you can scroll down a little bit, and then yeah, maybe you can stop the sharing now. Thanks. And we'll come down to that later on. Third principle later on. Yeah. Okay, so you got this first 2. So it's an intention which calls you, and it is an intention which is like coming from your higher possibility, the bigger self, and it's something that you cannot not do. Okay, and that you will see that as an individual, when you have that intention, that is great. But the magic is when you have this core team, 4 or 5 people who have this shared intention. Like they're not there to support you. They're there because they own the intention. It's their intention as well as your intention. So in a way, you're like partnering, collaborating, coming together to fulfill on a shared common intention. Okay, so let's pause here because this is again, I would say, the foundational piece. And if this is done well, I think you can accomplish miracles out of it. So let's see if you have any questions, comments, any conversation you want to do around this. Yeah.
Mano, did you tell them about the core team, the relationship between each other? Core team relationship with each other. Did you mention it, Manoj?
No, I'll create that. I'm just right now creating the core team's relationship with the intention. But I got you, and I think that is important, and I will create that before we go to the third principle. Thanks. Somebody else? Let's hear from you. What do you hear in these two principles? Any questions? So Sajal, you got what Ferdy was pointing at. It's not like you select the core team, right? And it's not like, oh, people who are working with you or your employees, they become the core team. They may not. They may not be the most appropriate people, because people who join you in your core team are not people who are joining you. They're people who are joining the intention. And of course, you need a good relationship with each other. You need a certain, we'll talk about it. You need a certain kind of relationship with each other. And that's what Vivek was pointing at, is what kind of relationship you need with each other. But the first condition is it is their vision. It's a shared intention. It's not they are joining to help you in fulfilling your intention. You get that, Sajal? So in my experience, if you have employees, not all of them will fit the bill. Okay, some of them will and some of them won't. And same way with if you have a current team, not everybody will fit the bill. Some of them may, some of them may not. Okay, so you want to, and you will have to kind of be a little fluid with it. You can't say, oh, I want these 3 people only or these people. Maybe it's actually at some time, the whole process of creating the core team itself is also like a process, and it will take its own time, and it will also have transformation happening. And in that also, there will be a certain amount of iteration happening, which means some people may join in, but at some time they may say, fine, no, that it doesn't really work for them. They would like to support the intention, but they don't own the intention fully, right? So there could be some changes also. But after some time, of course, there will be then a steady core team, and this core team will remain as a core team for a long time. It's not ever, but like that, like a long time. Yeah. So that's one very important dimension. And yeah, anybody else wants to say something, ask something? Akshat?
Yes, Manoj, can you give some example intention? You know why I'm just want to ask is this purpose, self, and intention. Is it same? Is it the same thing?
No, self is who you are, right?
Right. No, sorry, and your work.
No, self is you. Okay.
Yes.
Self is your higher self, right? That's you. The work is your purpose. Okay. Why you are on this planet. And as an expression of why you're on this planet, you want to, so like you want to make an impact, right? That's like a big direction. But inside of that, you give some more details, more shape to it, right? So you bring in some more particulars, and that is what is the intention. So you say, okay, so intention is an expression of yourself and your purpose, but it is more like a time bound or a more like a project, more specific. It will have more particulars, right? Like what Piyush was talking about is, if I will change the words a little bit, he was talking about selling policies, but I would say providing a certain financial support structure for people below the pyramid, right? In the bottom of the pyramid.
Yes, yes.
So that could be like an intention that he has, right?
Okay, okay.
Or like what Rijita was saying was like, so her bigger context could be contribution or anything like that. But inside of that, intention would be like making students industry ready, or making students, something like that, right? Ready to contribute on the planet, right? Contribute in the world. So that could be intention. And then, of course, the next thing comes, who are the other people who have a similar intention? Yeah. So what is your intention, Akshat?
Oh, actually, we just, as some time back we discussed, the W with capital, work capital W, is in the direction of making an impact.
Right.
Right. So now that is what I was wondering. What is my then intention? And I'm just thinking about it myself.
Yeah, just say something. You do a lot of thinking. You have to speak more. Let it come to you instead of you trying to cook it.
It's called iterating, prototyping. Just keep creating it in our listening, and then we are there with you.
And you can change it. It's not like we're going to hold you to account for that.
Yeah.
And it'll be an eco intention, not an ego intention. So we'll work with you, support you. Don't worry about it. Just say all the wrong stuff. It's fine.
Can I help Akshat? Future? Because
Piyush, you should help. Just 1 second. Let him just say one thing, and then you help. Yeah, let him just start that.
Okay, to reach out to lots of people.
Okay.
For their learning and development.
Okay, Piyush, you wanted to add?
See, look at Akshat, what job he's doing. Right now, one of the core job is when the newcomers come in and join insurance, he trains them and some self policies which is helping them to build their livelihood. When people are at certain levels, he's changing their average earning to a next level, which means they're improving their lifestyle. So he's making a big contribution to the society already.
Right.
Now, so that could be his starting point for his developing that particular.
Okay, very good, great. Thanks, Piyush. Okay. So Akshat, what do you want to say?
Yeah, I think
you say in your words. You got that as a hint, but you should say it in your own words, right? What do you see for yourself?
I want to reach out to a lot of people.
Okay.
That's my intention for training and development.
Okay, so you want to develop a lot of people, right?
Yes.
You want to help a lot of people develop themselves.
Yes.
Okay, good. So that could be your intention, and as you work further on it, you will articulate it more finer and finer. Okay.
Sure.
Now the next theme for you, Akshat, is to look at creating a team of people, a core team, who have the same intention or similar intention.
No,
now,
Manoj, before you go there, I think the first step to having a core team is people get clear about what are you about, concretely, not abstractly. Abstractly, you want to reach out to a number of people and help them in learning and development. But for somebody to join you and say, yeah, that is something I want to do as well, they have to be clear about what is it you want to do. And I think Manoj is about to speak to that, but I wanted to step in and address this. See, what is your dream? What is your vision in this area, in the area you talked about?
Okay, in this area, Ferdy, when I have been doing training and development, but it's always with a limited number of people who are in a classroom or who are in an organization. So we create training and conduct training for them. but I'm inspired by a lot of YouTube videos and other computer-based, internet-based training program where somebody creates something and they can reach out to a lot of people at the same time. So it's not time restricted, and it helps you. It enables you to reach out to a lot of people.
So the content. So it looks like one single person can put the content together and then use it to reach out to a large number of people.
Yes.
Right? Now,
Right.
can you see that that is still ego? It's not eco. What would make it
Sorry,
eco?
sorry.
It is ego based, not eco based.
I didn't get that. Can you please? Can you please
You
elaborate?
didn't hear what I said? Tell me.
I think that
What did I say?
the content you create, it will reach out to a lot of people.
Yeah, but who's creating the content?
Yeah, it is me who will be creating the content.
Yeah, one person, ego. Right? So if you wanted to shift that, see, your intention is to reach out in learning and development to a large number of people. That part is clear.
Yes.
But if you were to create the content by yourself, it would be ego based.
Yes.
What would make it eco based?
When everybody shares their knowledge.
5 people, remember, it's 5 people. What will make it eco based is 4 other people like you who are thinking similar to you in terms of how they want to educate people and how they want to do it, and they want to reach a large mass of people.
So,
but the idea is the content now is coming from 5 people, not just you.
Yeah.
That will make it eco based.
Okay.
Can you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so you're creating, you're telling your friend, this is what you want to do, I want to do it too, you want to do it, let's do it. And we want to reach a large number of people. The best way to do it is YouTube. Or, what do you say? Okay, yeah, let's go. What content should be designed? Then you sit down and design the content.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you could do the whole thing just by yourself.
No, I understand you now. Actually, initially also, my idea was not that I only create the content and content. There are many people who can contribute in various ways in creation of the content.
No, don't miss my point. I'm not talking about that. You could get content from all over the place, but who's picking the content? Still you.
Yeah.
So
I fully
instead of
agree.
you picking the content, you got a team there, a group of people who are committed to the eco vision, who together pick the content or create the content.
Yes.
See, that's a complete, and it makes it easier. You're not stuck in overwhelm because you're doing it all on your own. You got some support, you got other people working with you, and those people are working. They're not working with you. They are the owners of the whole thing along with you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I got it. Thanks.
Yeah, very good. All right, Manoj, back to you.
Yeah, great. Thanks. I think that was very useful. So it's like what Fadi was pointing out, that these 5 people quoting are at the source of that whole intention, right? And like Akshat, it's not that you you create the content or you select the content, but the 5 people are creating it together, which means also the 5 people are thinking about what kind of content should go, what kind of processes should be there, right? They're co-creating the whole mechanism around it. In the same way for your intention, so each one of you, if you look at, if 5 people are owning the same intention, but they're not going to have the same pathway. Like there will be different ideas. Yeah, maybe all of them may want to leverage technology, but still there will be so many different ways of doing it. So when 5 people are coming up with different ideas, different ways of looking at it, right? And that's where the core team gets the power. Okay. At the same time, there are certain other dimensions here that Vivek has been pointing at. Is what is the nature of this core team? What is the relationship that people in this core team will have with each other? So first thing is there is no hierarchy. Okay. If there is a hierarchy, it's not a core team. Now, it doesn't mean that you cannot have people working with you in your organizations join the core team. They can. But inside of the core team, when the relationship is there, inside of that relationship, there is no hierarchy. Okay, it's like I would say it's like a business partnership kind of relationship. Everybody is equal source into that. But going to our distinctions that we have been learning in this course, a core team can only work effectively if, as a discipline and as a matter of your promise, as a matter of your existential space, each team member is listening at level 2, level 3, and level 4 field of listening, which means each person is all the time, especially with each other, of course outside also, but especially with each other, they're always listening at level 2, level 3, level 4, which means they're listening to what is the new point, what is the new data in what this other person is saying, what my other core team member is saying. And if they're saying something different, you're listening from, okay, what are they like, trying to see from the other person's eyes. What if they're saying something different, what are they seeing? And let me first see that, so that then I can get what they're saying and why they're saying. And you're also listening at level 4, which is the generative space, where you're listening for the possibilities in the whole conversation, the new possibilities, emerging possibilities. So at the level of listening, that is what is required. And there is a mandatory field of conversation. As a core team, you cannot have a level 1 or level 2 field of conversation. Level 1 is talk nice, where people are saying what others want to hear, or they are just saying yes, 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 or they are not doing enough thinking, because what's the point of doing thinking? Ultimately, I had to agree to this senior person. Or they have kind of suppressed themselves, whatever. So that is level 1. You got that, right? So that is complete no. You cannot have that in a core team. That is the end of a core team. You are no more a core team if you are at level 1 field of conversation. Same thing is with level 2. If you are in debate, always trying to just prove your point of view, and you're not willing to see, suspend, or put aside and see from other point of view, if it's all debate, proving yourself right, then you're not a core team. It's not going to work. The core team requires level 3, level 4, seeing from others' perspective, not giving up your perspective, continuing to hold on to your perspective, at the same time seeing from others' perspective and expanding your paradigm. And then level 4 field of conversation is where you're building on each other's ideas. And at the end of the whole creation, it's like everybody's creation. It's not so they're agreeing to your creation or you're agreeing to somebody else's creation. It is a genuine co-creation. So that is the kind of space that you need to create. So let me pause here. Questions, comments, and before we move to principle number 3. Because these two are foundational. If you get this in, everything else will fall in place. Karnal, Sajal, anything? Piyush, Rijita, anybody?
This is the good time to let your downloading express itself, especially your voice of judgment. your voice of fear, and your voice of cynicism.
Yeah, Professor Rijita, go ahead.
Yeah, so when you talked about forming a core group, right? You talked about how
core team.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
In the core team, that everyone needs to be equal in the core team, right? My challenge here is that,
Yes.
Especially in organizations like most Indian organizations, hierarchies are quite stringent. So how do you break those hierarchical thinking when you are in that core team? Because I might say that, here there is no hierarchy here, but there's something which is culturally ingrained inside.
How would you like it to be done?
You're right, and there could be various ways to address. Vivek, sorry, I'm responding to that. I know you want to take a different direction, but I'm kind of going straight because okay. So, Rijita, there could be many ways you could go about it. Okay, one is in the way you select the people, right, and the way you create the whole context when you're selecting the people. Okay, and secondly, all said and done, whatever you do, I think it's very critical that they need to get trained in these tools and they need to practice and be grounded in these tools. There may be other ways of doing it, but I find that this is the very reliable and critical way of, they are following the same principles. Okay. And from my experience of the last 4 years, I think that has made a big difference. Whenever the core teams have been trained into these principles, they are all aligned and subscribing to these principles. They have tested, benefited from these principles. I think it makes a big difference. Especially what you said is, it's critical that they learned shifting from ego to eco. Okay, and otherwise, the programming is so solid, right? As that's what you are saying. I think it's very important that you have them unlearn that and learn this. Okay. And I know that it's true both in corporate organizations as well as in educational organizations. I have enough people in educational organizations who say that the hierarchy structure is more challenging in the
So having worked in both areas, I find education area is more stringent with regard to the hierarchies.
Yeah,
where you're completely told, okay, oh, this is where you lie in the hierarchy.
Yeah, I had some interesting sharing from people about it. So I get your world, right? So you cannot wish it away. You have to train them and select the right people and train them. Okay. Now, so both, I think it will go both ways, in the way you select and in the way you kind of orient them and train them into the whole spirit. Both. Yeah, Piyush.
And third step is keep maintaining it.
Yeah,
because it is something that will fall again. I mean, over the last 4 years, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, Ferdy definitely is someone who's trained us for so many years. I mean, 19 years, 20 years, each of us have been trained by Ferdy. And so for us, there was always a hierarchy in our natural expression with him. And over the years, Ferdy had to, I mean, he did many times keep bringing up the conversation of he would like us to participate more, communicate more, and not not do that behavior over and over again unconsciously.
Yeah, but see, here again, the challenge is that if you are on the top of the pyramid and you said it to your subordinates or people who report to you, that, or even your peers, that this is what you expect, it's still possible. But how do you bridge that gap when you're talking to someone who is superior to you in the natural order of things? But here you want them to understand that, you're coming and talking to them from a point of view where you are not just a subordinate, but a peer.
Yeah. It is challenging, and it will I think it will have multiple facets to it, Rijita. One facet would be your own ownership of this intention, and how, so I think it will come from there, like when you are like at the source of this intention, right? and they want to collaborate with you. They want to partner you. It's not that they want to take over the project, but they want to partner you. Right? That's why I said it's important in how you share the idea and how you get people on board, right? And what are they getting on board with, right? So yeah, so something to reflect on, and of course you can build further on this.
Also, Rijita, the core team is one aspect. Once the core team creates a prototype that is pretty solid and can be replicated and taken to scale, then you're going to need to get the seniors and the people who've got the listening and all that, get them enrolled in fulfilling on the project.
Right.
But right now, in creating, the core team is the creative hub. In creating stuff, you want people who can drop their levels and can come down and join a collaboration and create something together. And if your seniors are not going to be able to do that, don't have them on the team.
Okay.
It's completely about the vision and intention, what I see.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't get what you said, Sajal.
I'm telling that it is completely about vision and intention.
Yes.
If their vision is correct, they will come down.
Yeah, and if they don't, it's their own loss.
Yes, true.
Okay.
Just we were having a conversation while you guys were in the room that many times I communicate something.
Yeah, Piyush, you're saying something.
I'm going to say something with a very my strong voice of judgment and cynicism. My biggest worry when you're talking about is the core team has to be very good at active level 2 and level 3 listening. Now the core team has not gone through this program.
Yes.
So how do we start looking at this program, this entire purpose or intent to be part of the core team when core team has not gone through a program? So I really need help on that, because suddenly I'm feeling operation successful, patient dead.
What do you think?
Which means the core team has to go through this program before we start.
Well, if you can manage to put them through, that'll be wonderful. And you can't always do that, but you don't want to give up your intention because you can't do that, right? So how would you bridge the gap in that case?
See, maybe I will use Akshat to help me in training them on this.
Yeah, either use Akshat to help you or you train them or something. Easiest way is to send them to us. But if that's not possible, then you will have to do the job.
Please do it for free. We'll always get it done. Money, I don't think company will pay because we are doing it on our own. It's not the organization.
I think even free, it won't work, because when people get something for free, they don't have much value for it.
This is the problem.
So it will be something that you give them and you talk about it and you intentionalize it. So I suspect you're going to have to be the person who'll do it.
Okay.
And not even Akshat, you'll have to do it.
Okay.
Akshat may coach you from outside and say, no, how about this and how about that? This is what I did and this is how I got it to work.
Okay.
And once you get your core team together, if you got a great project, your project looks as though it's pretty good, we will help you. We will coach you in how to get it done.
Because
and we won't charge you for that.
To be successful for me, it's not only the organization people who need to have, because we have people with intentions or like this outside the organization. In fact, funds.
Yes.
In fact, so all those things have to be part of the core team.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
Very,
No. They don't all have to be part of the core team. You just got to get 5 people, human beings, ordinary human beings, never mind what their position is, who got the same vision, who you feel close to and you feel that you can work together with them. Get those people in first. Then when you're taking it to scale, because once your model is complete, then you'll have to take it. When you take it to scale, you'll need those other people. Then we'll see how to do that.
Yeah. You can look at it like concentric circles. There is a core team, and then there are other teams who are there as support teams and involved with. So the core team is responsible for the whole project, right? And then there will be various project teams, support teams who will come and play different roles at different times. Okay, so there are a lot of people in the periphery who will play different roles, but then there is a core team who's like the source of the whole intention, owning the whole intention. Okay.
Well, very good thinking, Piyush. You're thinking in the right direction.
Okay. So Ferdy, I was thinking that we pause here from the perspective of going deeper into all the 6 sessions, 6 principles. And I was looking at creating the alumni and the whole context of the.
I think you should just talk about spaces or platforms, because that's going to be critical for them.
Okay.
The core team, they need a platform, right, and a space.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the last 2 things are what they do in that
Okay.
space. So it's not a big deal.
Right. And then do you want to do the show the marshmallow video, the iteration?
We can ask them to look at it afterwards if they want to. It'll
Okay.
distract them.
We'll send you the link. Yeah. Okay, we'll send them the link. Okay, good. Okay, now this is a question that some of you also asked. And again, it's after you got your core team sorted out, I think this is the most critical framework that you need, which is the landing strip and the safe space for nurturing your vision. Okay, so as I said earlier, you could have many ways you go about it, but one basic simple one that you I think must have, right? And others are add on to it, but you must have this one is the core team has to invest a certain amount of time in the intention. And what I mean by that is one example could be the core team gets together for 1 hour a week, 1.5 hours a week, maybe in person, maybe on Zoom or any other video conferencing, not on phone, but on video conferencing or on, depending on where they are. If it's possible to meet together, okay. If it's not possible, not a problem. You can use hours, 1 hour at least, dedicatedly investing in the intention, developing the intention, looking at what are the various prototypes you can do, what experiments you can do, what actions you can do, taking those actions during the weeks, getting feedback, coming back, sharing those feedbacks, reflecting, creating some more new ideas. It's a continuous investment of time and energy in that intention, right? And as Vivek has shared a couple of times, this is like our 11th cohort in this technology, right? And we are all from different technology. We have an expertise in personal transformation, and we have been expertise in organizational transformation. And when we 4 years back, 5 years back, we got in touch with this technology, we saw that yes, this is a very powerful way to make a difference on the planet, to fulfill our purpose. But so initially we got together. For 6 months, we just used this technology on ourselves. We just trained ourselves deeper and deeper and practiced the distinctions and applied it in our own lives and produced results into it. Then we started designing some programs, and then we experimented with some small groups of people. Then we experimented in different formats. Then we delivered some online workshops, some open workshops, face-to-face workshop. We did some consulting assignments. And over a period of time, we have been expanding, and trying out various ideas, bringing in different people, collaborating. And now we are able to offering this in 4 countries with continuously doing. So now we have launched the 12th batch. We have done a couple of advanced courses. We are working with some companies on long 1-year interventions. And this is all still the seeding process. It's a starting process for the whole journey. Instead of our commitment to transform the consciousness with which organizations, society, and individuals operate. That's our intention in which we work together. So, but what has helped us in this whole thing? We were all busy with our own lifetimes, our own businesses, our own careers. What has helped us is every week we have been investing 90 minutes together for the last 4 years, every week, fixed day, fixed time, right? And in the 4 years, I think we would not have changed or canceled or something, I think not more than 4 times. Okay, and so that consistency has helped us to, one is bond together as a core team, like be the real, like develop our own ownership and expression of this intention, develop our mastery into this conversation, and be a solid team where we know each other, we are trusting each other, not just trusting each other as human beings, but trusting each other inside of the technology, that we are in the same intentions, right? We already had good relationships, so we would have trusted each other in many ways, but to trust each other as the source of a conversation is very different. And so I would say that this is very critical part. You will, once you get this, you will be able to create some other spaces also, some other platforms also, where you can nourish your intention. But I think this is first thing that you need to do. And so when you're creating a core team, right, you're asking so you're looking at, of course, they own the intention. You also want to look at what is their investment if they join. So their investment is, wherever they are on the planet, they invest this 90 minutes in that session, right, in that meeting. And what day, what time is your meeting, that you and your core team members can sort out. Initially, again, there might be some teething troubles, right? But after some time, you kind of settle, okay, this day, this time works for everybody. Everybody makes it work, right? And but that intention has to be there, that yes, I am joining this as a core team. I own this intention. I am at the source of this intention, and I am willing to invest this 90 minutes, preferably every week, right? From our experience, that is what is good. Maybe once in 2 weeks might work, but initially, I think it might be good to start with what we have done. Yeah. So this is what we would like to share from our own experience of the fourth principle. Right?
So my recommendation is you use Zoom rather than face-to-face. You save a lot of time. Even if you're in the same city, you do have to drive to the place and sit down and meet. So it's 1.5 hours plus the time to commute. If you do it on Zoom, then you're doing it like this. And there are Zoom accounts are free for how much time, Vivek?
40 minutes.
40 minutes.
40 minutes. So if you want more than 40 minutes, you disconnect and then connect again. Or one of you gets a Zoom account.
Yeah,
it's not very
quite
expensive.
economical, some $15 a month.
Get a Zoom account, and then you can go for as long as you want. That's my recommendation. You can do it using Skype or using some other thing, but I find that Zoom is the best. Yeah. So that's one thing. Now, what do you do in these meetings? Okay. First of all, the first thing is you start creating the prototype, right? Creating what you want. How is this project going to go? So you start talking and then you iterate. The other thing you do is you iterate. In each of the meetings, you see what did we do? We put this out. How did it go? You iterate, you make changes. And then you listen to the feedback. Always listen to the universe. You listen to the feedback. What is the feedback saying? Throw some of it away. Explore the others. And then all the time, you're encouraging each other to use the intelligence of the head, the heart, and the hand. So you can see that all the 6 core principles are at play in the spaces or platforms that create a landing strip for the future. That's what I suggest.
Right. Okay. So we'll pause here in this conversation, and we want to bring in another conversation.
Before you do that, any questions people have about what we've covered so that it's complete, and then we'll move on. You don't have to have any questions, but if you have some.
This is the time to ask.
6 principles, right? Get clear about your intention. Form a core team, so that will be the next action you will have to take, and then each of the person who joins your core team will have to do that. And you start iterating. How are we going to do this? What are we going to do? So Akshat says, okay, I got 6 people. Now what are we going to do? We'll follow YouTube. What is the material we'll use? We'll use that. We'll use this. We'll experiment with this. We'll experiment with that. Same thing with, who was it? Piyush, How do we do this? What should we do? What's the first step? And you remember, you don't have to get the whole thing done. because you're going to go step by step and you're going to iterate each of the steps. And one of the actions you'll have to take, besides getting a core team, is fixing how you're going to be meeting the platform. Step number 4, fixing that platform. So that's what you have to do. Anybody, any questions about how you'll do it? Colonel, can you see yourself doing it?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, good. And Rijuta, you can see yourself doing it?
Yeah.
All right, great. Akshat? Great. Hitcham? Good. I think everybody, I think this is a sample of everyone. I'm not asking the rest because I presume you got it.
Yeah.
And one thing, Ferdy, in the first one meeting, probably when people are giving ideas about what could be done, please remember in the whole process of design thinking, there are many ideas that come across, right? So let the ideas come. Don't negate any ideas. Just put them all together. And then together say, okay, now we can't work on 100 ideas. Now let's pick up 1 or 2 or 3, which are let's short it down, bring it down. And slowly. So keep working with each other. Don't get, that voice of judgment, fears. And that's all possible. Just watch out for that.
Yeah. Okay. One more thing inside of this conversation of core team is some of you may have some names flashing in your mind already, whom you can talk to be on the core team. Why don't you take a couple of seconds and write them down for yourself? So if you have some names that cross your mind, okay, this can be the core team flashing, take a minute and write it down for yourself. And they may join, they may not join, but just write down right now. Okay, how many of you have some people that you can see?
Okay, Sajal has some. Hitcham, have you got anybody? Yeah, Hitcham has. Akshat, have you got somebody? Yeah, great. Anybody who doesn't have anybody? I think everybody got something. All right, Manoj, okay. Now go on to what you were going to do.
Yes. Okay, just 1 second. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. You can.
Okay, good. Okay, so we wanted to share with you a couple of other things. One is that as a support mechanism for those of you who would like to continue your journey in this technology and who would like to actually take your vision forward and fulfill it. Okay, so we have 2 mechanisms designed to support you. A first mechanism is what we call as an alumni group. Okay, an alumni group is for all the people who have done the courses with us, and we have a WhatsApp group in which we communicate regularly.
Manoj, can we have Vivek?
Can share
Vivek saying about it.
Your sound is bad. On their intentions and
Manoj, your sound is bad. Let's have Vivek talk about it.
Yeah, so we first created a WhatsApp group and we invited all our old graduates who have participated in our cohorts to come and join the alumni group, and we created a context for them naturally. The context is really simple, that we would like you to all become much stronger participants, players in the game of the U theory and the U theory of transformation. That you become much better at all these things, practice these things, so that you actually take it forward into your businesses, in your lives, in your careers, in your society. And for that, the same WhatsApp group, people suggested that we can do 1 call a week on Zoom. So we've now created a 1 call a month. Once a month, we have 1 session where all the old graduates, they come on this Zoom, and on that, each one is looking at creating something in the world. Like you all have your visions, so they all have got their visions. And how are you going to create that vision in the world? And we are there to provide you with whatever coaching and support we can to be able to take those projects and take it forward. It's not really about your transformation. The group is not for you to transform. It is for you to alter your perception in the world, and them to, for the people in your world to alter perception of you, right? It's not just you are become this top cheese or you become this great person or something like that. It's about that space is being created ongoingly in your lives where these things can happen. The prototypes can happen, the core teams can happen, you know, the real projects are getting out there in the world and producing the results that probably everybody wants. So we have the alumni group. That's our first opportunity for you. And I think our next alumni session is probably the day after your last session on the 10th. I don't remember exactly if it's the 11th. Just one sec, I'll tell you. Yes, it is. So your first alumni call will be on 11th of February at 7:30 p.m. and it's for 2 hours, not more than 2 hours. We may finish a little early, but it's from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m.
And you don't pay anything. Pro bono.
Okay.
Did people hear what I said?
Yeah, they all heard for it. They all smiled also.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Manoj,
Okay.
you want to go ahead?
And also, please tell them about the new cohort which is starting.
Yeah. So the next cohort is starting on February 24th, same time, 7:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. February 24th is also a Monday. Just like now, it's on Monday evenings, India time, 7:30 p.m. So if you have someone in your life you would like to participate in the cohort number 12, please contact any of us. And if you want us to speak to those people, you want us to help you speak to those people, guide those people, you're welcome to take us on. We would love to do that. I think a few days ago, Manoj had already shared with you the PPT or the presentation about cohort 12. It must have you must have received it on the WhatsApp group. Manoj, you're back?
Yeah, the link. Yeah, the link we had sent.
Yeah. You wanted to talk about something else, Manoj?
Yeah, and what we have done in the past and what we want to explore. So there we have been doing something what we call as LFEF2. This is the LFEF, and then we have this LFEF2, which is leadership from the emerging future to vision to implementation, vision to reality. And that course, that's like an advanced course, that's like a special course. It's for people who have an intention and are wanting to work on that intention, and for people who have at least, if not all the full core team, at least 2 people on the core team to start with, and they are committed to create a core team, and they want to get coached in this whole journey of applying the 6 principles and actually taking their intention and converting it into reality. So we have been doing that work with various companies. We have also done it with various groups of people like open courses. But that's something that takes a lot of effort from our side, and it requires a lot of commitment from your side both. So we have done that in the past, and uh, it is like it can be a 3-month conversation again with 6 sessions, like alternate weeks coaching as a group and alternate weeks coaching as individuals. So there are two. It works at 2 levels. It works like there is a group coaching like this, and then there is an individual coaching with one of us on your projects, right? So there's the LFEF2 for people who have an intention and want to get coached in fulfilling that intention into reality. So if you are interested in that kind of a coaching, you should let us know. And if we have enough people who are interested in that, we will form a special batch to support that intention. Okay. So you should let us know if you want to. You can get in touch with one of us individually and share that, or you can talk about it next time. So think over if you, and we will let us know if you want to explore that dimension further. Yeah.
And Colonel, if there are people from your institute who want to do, who you think should do the program, introduce them, and we can do an introduction like we did with Dr. Habib, and same thing with you, Rijita, and anybody else. Okay.
Yeah, we could do an introduction on Zoom with your organization, with your people, with your teams. From here, we can have a conversation with them to, so that they know what you're talking about from us.
Okay, I think that wraps up this session. Any questions, comments, anything for anybody? If not, we'll send you off a little early, right? Okay, guys, good session. And next session is the last one, so don't miss it, okay? Wrap up.
Yeah, great. And keep be active on the WhatsApp group also. Okay.
Yeah. Bye-bye.